All right, we're here with Mr. Director Man Luke Kubeck and Mr. Score Man. How do you want to be called? What do you want to be called?
Tyrese.
Tyrese Adams. So for this commentary, we're just gonna be talking about web chat, the process of making it, what went into, making the music, went into making the film, all that fun, wonderful stuff. We're gonna talk about shoot days, stuff like that. Y'all boys ready?
Yeah,
All right.
let's go.
I guess the first question would be for you, Luke. What was some of the
Mhm.
inspiration into making web chat? Like,
Um, I think for web chat, I was very inspired by Black Mirror. I had been watching that over the summer, and I really love their stories and how they have these twists at the end. They're very outside of the box ideas, and it just kind of started with me wanting to do some technological story. And I think it started with just like a normal conversation between like kids on a web chat really. And then I just have been so inspired by Black Mirror that I thought, how could I add a little spin to that? And I kind of think that's where it stemmed from, really.
oh, what were some of the shoot days like?
The shoot days were it was very interesting because we had shot the whole thing one weekend and I was deathly sick. I felt like I was almost on my deathbed. I don't really know how I directed. But we did it and that was great. And then none of the footage came out good. So we had to reshoot the whole thing all over again after we got everything. So we had to reshoot with the actors and stuff. And that was very painful to redo again. But I think because we did it once already, everyone knew exactly what they had to do, and it was so smooth. The actors killed it. Chris Morris being one of them, and it turned out very well. So
Speaking about actors,
Was
what
that the
was one?
first one we did?
That was the first film
what's
that we
that?
shot. It was one of those. It was
Yeah.
either that or
Was it-
no. Web chat was the first one, and then Critics was the second one.
Yeah.
But Critics became the
Yeah.
first film that we shot because the footage was good.
So that was just a
Exactly.
bunch of fucking novices. Like we was just fucking around.
Yeah, pretty
It
much.
seemed like
Right. Yeah. It was kind of crazy that none of it came out well first time, but
But
and
yeah,
then
yeah.
it was a good
So,
film.
second time it was fast, right? Like that shit.
Yeah,
I
we
just
pretty
remember
much
one day was
yeah.
fast.
we shot all my scenes
Yeah.
in a day, and I think we shot all of Nyla's scenes. Like, it took
Yeah.
maybe 2 days. I don't know.
Yeah. It was quick. Maybe 2 days. Yeah.
All right. Well, speaking of that, what went into some of your casting choices?
Well, I mean, for Max, it was an interesting casting process because we needed someone who, was a little was a little, you know, nerdy and awkward talking to women, which is the opposite of Chris Morris, I want to specify. So that was
No, no, no.
I was like
Nerdy
when
and
I cast.
awkward talking
I
to
think it
women.
nerdy as hell. He nerdy
That
as
nigga is
hell.
nerdy as fuck, yo. I don't know who this Chris
No,
Morris
no,
nigga is,
it,
but
it was
like,
the
that
opposite. I
nigga
was
is
like,
a
I don't know.
nerd.
I
He's
don't know if
Bro.
awful.
Chris can play this role well because he's just such a ladies' man that like I don't know if he can convey that awkwardness when talking to women because it's not there. It's non-existent when he talks to women. So that was tough. But he did a really good job. Like I think we did like a couple line readings in Chris. Um and it felt good. It felt authentic, especially when he shouted Vera. I was like, "That's right
Well, no, it's
there.
crazy.
We have it right there."
It took us a good 5 times to get that like straight
Yeah,
right.
I know, but you got it by the end. And then I think Nyla was casted because maybe Gavin had her in mind for Locke or something, and I just needed a female actress, so I didn't really know how she would be until she like was on set doing it. And then like when we already shot, I was like, oh, okay, she's good, so gotta get her for the retake also. And the chemistry between Chris and Nyla worked out pretty well, surprisingly.
Yep. Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah. Uh, would you say? Well, we already touched on this earlier with how, um, the first weekend we shot the film, the footage didn't
Yeah.
turn out right. But what were some of the ups and downs of making web chat besides that?
Um, I think honestly, like the biggest thing for me was just trying to make like the web chat call thing feel authentic because it's a little weird when you're like shooting each person separately. Like I'm shooting your side of the call and then Nyla's. So just like putting that together so it feels like a natural conversation and I'm hoping like it's perceived that way by people who watch it, but it was definitely like a struggle in the editing process for sure of matching that up, but also just like doing it in the like when we were actually shooting it so that it felt like it was a natural conversation within both of your performances. So that was a challenge, but like I said, once we shot the second weekend, I think you both already kind of had that down, so it made it a lot easier. You know.
Right. So
It's all
Ty,
good.
the sound guy, what were some of your favorite parts of just being on set?
Um, I don't even remember when I was. I don't think I was on set for the second one, but I was on set for the first one.
You
I
did.
think.
I think you did a bit of sound from my part. I'm not sure.
Yeah, no, I did.
We're doing it for Nyla's.
Um, I
I think
remember
Mark.
at least at the end. Yeah, it was mostly Mark, but towards the end of the first shoot, it felt crazy because it was basically all of us besides CW, but we were all like Nala was in the closet. Uh, I mean you was somewhere. I don't know. He was like on the couch or some shit.
No, the web chat
Um,
shoot, like when we were doing Nyla scene, I think I was highest. It was Jalen, because we were just making fun. That's what came about.
I remember that. Yeah.
Yeah.
No, but I'm talking about during the last scene with
Oh yeah.
Mark. We were trying to get like the twist shot that isn't in the final cut, and just seeing that, and then I was just like on the fucking ground, the kitchen floor, just like with the sound. It felt kind of surreal because I was like, damn, like we
Yeah.
really, this is like real. We went from college students with a dream to college students trying to actualize a dream to college students actualizing a dream right now.
Hell yeah.
It's
Yeah.
like now we have all this shit.
Mr. Director, man, what was your favorite part?
Um. Hmm. I think honestly, the last like half of it was really fun because, like I said, we were just filming in those two rooms for a while, and I was kind of like ready to be done with that just because it was the same stuff. So I think when we were actually downstairs in the kitchen, like Timmy said, like it felt very real. It like felt more like a set, and we're like, damn, we're actually doing this. And it was really funny how well, I don't know if it was so funny to her, but it was just funny like how Nyla was like in that small closet space, and I was like, oh yeah, it's only get like you only have to stay in there for a little while, and she was in there for a very
Like
long
the
time. But we did have a
surreal 4 hours.
fan.
We did have a
Yeah,
fan on set.
we did have a fan, so it's not like we were like abusing our actors or anything, but like it was very hot in that small space. And that was kind of wild, but it was just really fun like coordinating that little like stuff downstairs in the last scene. That was fun.
Oh yeah. All right. Now, Ty, what were some of the choices that you went into making the soundtrack for web chat?
Iris.
Ty, my
I
fault.
mean, it's
You
it's
said
the
Ty.
same nigga, but like On set,
Look,
I'm Ty, the sound guy.
all right, fine.
Tyrese.
Tyrese Adams. What was some of the choices that went into?
It's just the fact that he was like Tyrese, like so seriously.
My fault,
Anyways,
Tyrese. You would think that I've known you for like a good 3 years. I would get your name right.
All right. You're trying. That's the important
Oh,
part.
I'm trying my best. It's a learning curve. It's a
Yeah.
learning process.
Nah, yeah. But what was the question again?
What were some of the choices that you made into making the soundtrack? Obviously, you worked with Luke on it, so like, what directions did you go? Like, yeah.
Web chat. So just like, it's probably the most internet use. I get like very online film, I guess. So then just like I'm just like, okay, fucking Tron, fucking electronic, just trying to make all the music sound very electronic. Very very digital in a
Oh,
sense.
makes
As
sense.
is digital. But also like with a touch of like horror but suspense. Like me and Luke, we were trying to get the sound of horror. No, the light. I'm dark. I'm dark as hell. Okay. Um, trying to get that the horror without get like without making it sound corny. Like,
Right.
I mean, the movies back, I don't know, like 80s, like Scream, Psycho. I haven't even seen either, but just
Yeah, fuck
that
Psycho.
time period of I gotta watch both of them. I do.
Yeah.
I got a big backlog of movies. I'm gonna die. I'm
You
gonna
know what?
cry.
yeah, you gotta watch them seriously. But
I got through
I
like
feel like
oh, my fault. You go.
no, you're good. Go ahead. What were we gonna
No, I
say?
was gonna talk about Planet of the Apes, man. Like,
Oh
you
my
go.
god. No, I was just gonna add to what Timmy is saying. Like what we talked
Tyrese,
about
you a
was.
dumb fuck. You
I
absolute
mean, see,
idiot.
Tyrese.
This
What
fucking
Tyrese
dumb
said.
shit.
How
What?
dare you?
Idiot.
Cut, cut, cut. Okay. So just to add on to what Tyrese said, I think that we were talking like we definitely wanted to have that presence of horror, but like we didn't want like the classic horror sounds because I was trying to find that like where do we draw the line with the horror sounds. So I feel like we more went into the like the thriller side of horror, if that makes sense. Like not like the old like
Yeah.
I hope that doesn't make it what I just did. But the yeah, we wanted like the like thrilling aspect of horror almost with that like electronic sound like you would find in any like like thriller like crime movie. That's more what we were going for than like scream horror slasher. Like
That's
yeah.
On some like Ari Aster, like them dirty ass white dudes, just gross ass white dudes making that
Yeah,
just
one of the cool things, like that's a good point about Ari Aster that we wanted to add into was like he has these like weird sounds like in the background of his films. They're like very faint. You have to listen very closely for it. But like it's this weird like I don't even know what it is, but it's like this airy sound in the background that like you still feel it. It like gives this uncomfortable feeling, and we wanted to incorporate that also because like web chat is uncomfortable like as it progresses it is more
more uncomfortable.
uncomfortable like yeah what's about to go down so
Yeah.
Tyrese killed it.
All right. Yeah. No. Tyrese fucked that shit up.
Tyrese cooked.
y'all haven't even heard it. Like for
I
real.
know.
We were saying this as if web chat came out already. So like,
Yeah,
we would have heard
yeah,
it.
no, I realized that. Yes.
Yeah, so
But
you
y'all haven't
messed up.
even heard that shit, bro. That shit crazy.
Yeah,
God damn. Or so y'all need to give it a second watch, man. Like shit.
Yeah. No. Watch that shit if you haven't on YouTube.
right now I'm dealing with the pain of Operation Rory, so I can't even think about web chat because I
Oh, that
want to.
might be our next call. I'm not gonna lie to you. Anyways, web chat. So maximum output is its canonical name. What was the inspiration, but like behind maximum output?
I don't. That wasn't me who made that, right? Wasn't that you, Mister
Yeah, I think I made that
It was
shit.
Mr. Adams.
Mister
Yeah.
Adams?
Mr. Adams came up with maximum output.
We
Yeah,
ain't gonna
because
talk about the chat though.
Yeah, no.
about the what?
Chat.
We don't have to talk about the chat.
Yeah,
The
well,
pre
don't. I mean, that's not even my doing the chat. You were the one putting some wild things in there, so
You
I
made
don't
the
think.
characters. You made the characters though.
You gave us the artistic license to do it. You
That's what
were
I'm
the one who
saying.
I really
we just
didn't
pulled the
though.
trigger.
At
It's
the
just
end, at
you
the end of the
writing
day,
wild stuff like usual.
who made maximum output?
Not me.
Who
I
brought
mean,
it
I
to
you
invented
life?
it.
did. You came up with the name,
Yes, but you allowed it to be created.
bruh. We needed that for the film.
I'm just the dude. You're fucking Walt. I'm Walt's brother.
You're Hank. Wait, no, that's not his
You
brother.
got it.
Wait, what is that? No, that's his. No. Anyways, okay.
That's
But yeah,
irrelevant. But yeah,
it's
maximum
irrelevant.
output.
But Tyrese came up with maximum output,
Yes, that is his
which is
name.
my username right now, so I still haven't changed it.
Yes. You are maximum output now. All right. Well,
Yes.
I don't really have any other questions. You just want to like? Do you guys have anything else to say?
I got a question.
Yeah.
Uh, the how did it? Because this is something I've always like seen whenever I'm on someone's set. Like, how do you handle the unpredictability of set? Because you always come in with a plan, and then
Mhm.
shit just
Shit just happens.
it doesn't go. Yeah, you just gotta make your way.
Um.
It's like as a
Well,
director, yeah.
no, that's a good question. I think because that set was very unpredictable. There was a lot of stuff that I didn't anticipate happening. But I think like what I went into it was I knew my story and my characters, and I think that's like one of the most important things is just to know your story and characters, because sometimes like what you had planned in your script doesn't always work out. So you can find ways to modify things, but you still want to keep it like, you know, you still want to keep it true to the story you're telling. So that was kind of the one thing. It's just like I wanted to go in making sure I knew like my story, who the characters were, and then like in terms of directing, like once you know those things, then you kind of it's important to like convey that to the actors. But I didn't want like Chris or Nyla to feel um that they had to like be on every beat that I wanted. Like I wanted to give them some freedom in their portrayal of the characters. So like when they read the script, they could maybe do some things that I hadn't even thought of when I wrote it. And so I think like that's just the most important thing about giving actors freedom to like do what they want with the characters as long as everyone's on the same page. And then if problems come up, it's just about like working through them. I mean, you know what you want from the story, so maybe you just have to find another way of um like conveying a scene or just like working through challenges. But as long as you know everything about your film, that's most important.
Dope.
Just having that vision, just
Yeah,
making sure that vision is like strong.
exactly. I have a question for you actually, Tyrese.
Oh wow.
Um I don't, but I'm gonna make it up on the spot like I do, just because I felt like we didn't hear enough from you.
You're feeling
So
Oh,
vulnerable right now.
what?
Nothing. Ask your goddamn question.
Well, I think it's interesting because I don't like this. Well, this was your first experience with making like film soundtracks, right?
no. Critics was the first one for me.
No, but not
Yeah.
this film. I'm saying like like with
Oh,
this
just
collection,
yeah.
right?
Yeah.
So, like, I'm just curious, like, how did you use your early knowledge of
Your vast
music and like
knowledge.
yeah, and making beats and transfer it into like the film soundtrack realm? Like, was it was it about you like really working with the directors, or did you bring in stuff you already knew? Like, how did you go about that process?
Um, it's really like it was just a feeling thing because everything I don't know. I think everything creative today has been you can break it down to the smallest fraction of like all these the big movies, songs, art, whatever. It can all be done by one person.
Yeah,
So I'm like just looking at like doing a soundtrack for even a short film just seems like a lot because you're also in that process as well, but you're just not on set. Like you don't
right.
make the soundtrack on set as you go along, You
Hmm.
look at what the director gives you and you just go off of that.
Yeah,
So just seeing that, I had to just I don't know, it was a lot of just like my just trusting my own interpretation of the film because that's what it is because it's a soundtrack by Tyrese Adams. It's not a soundtrack by Luke Kubeck. No matter how much input you give me, it's still gonna be my
right.
interpretation of what it is, you know. So
Yeah,
I think just believing in in what I make is just that's just like really what it is. Like just believing in what you create.
Hell yeah.
yeah. I think it's really cool too because the all of our films are so different. So you really got to like work with such like different genres through all of these and explore like different sounds in them just because they're all different sounds and different vibes. So I think that's especially cool for people to see that like you have such versatility in all of these different projects with the music and sounds you're creating.
Hmm.
And I think
Yes.
that's dope.
Yes, and it all comes back into my music because after the critics, I learned how to
Yeah,
make beats a different way. I learned like just free flow. After fucking web chat, I learned like a lot more chords and like feeling, just like feeling that out. CTL was just like mad collaboration. I just learned how
right.
to collaborate basically.
Yeah,
It's amazing. Cause all of this shit is just preparing us for whatever the fuck. Like you, Gavin, Jalen, y'all can just make movies. I swear, like you just like it's easy now.
Yeah.
Yeah, y'all just like y'all been directors, y'all been writers. It's just like a bigger. It's the
It's
same
fun to
thing.
see just like watching you all like write shit, like make beats and just collaborate, and it's been a fun part of the process of just being like the behind the scenes guy of like watching it, filming it, recording it, talking about it, stuff like that. I love to see it.
yeah. I think also like these stories are not they're not like on a crazy scale or anything. A lot of them just take place in like a couple locations or anything. It's not like we're on a huge scale of it. Like this one is very simplistic. It's just two people having a conversation like through the screen. But I think like we all kind of brought our own style into it and like we our voices, I guess, into the films that hopefully they're gonna stand out a little more than your typical like short film. Not hating on what short films are out now, but I feel like we all have our own voice, so hopefully these are very like distinct. Was that bad to say? Was that bad to say?
Cut that shit out,
Oh
bro.
no, I'm definitely cutting that shit out.
Oh, no, keep it in, bro. Keep it in, bro.
Nah, cause like
Was it bad?
imagine.
Okay. I think that I think that we all managed to like bring our voices into the films and make them stand out.
Yeah, I can say
Yes,
comfortably like all
heavy.
the films are y'all. If that makes sense.
Yes. Everyone has their own voice and you can see it through the characters and stuff and
I will say,
Yeah.
I do need a coffee right now.
Yeah.
No, that's a problem.
You getting addicted, man?
I'm a little addicted.
Yeah, addicted, man. You think about that shit. You taking a
I
piss?
am
You think about that shit?
like,
You wake
I
up, you think
wake
about
up
that
and
shit?
I'm like, yo, I need some coffee. I'm addicted.
Damn. YNW coffee, man.
YNW coffee is crazy, mother.
That's insane. But
It could
yeah,
be my
that's
name
all.
from now
That's
on.
all. Right. So yeah.
I'm trying to think of like a question or something.
Yeah, I mean, if you guys have questions, that could help too, just to prompt me to talk about something. Like, I can try to think of like talking points. Is it
Like,
recording again?
no, yeah, it's recording again, but
Oh,
whatchamacallit?
okay.
Majority of like my main questions were like just basic questions and then going from there. But what would it like working with the actors? Like, because this was your first time directing, so you had a
Mhm.
relatively new actor in me. You had a somewhat experienced actor in Nyla and Mark. Like, what was it like
Yeah.
directing for the first time?
Um, it was weird directing because like I had these characters in my head for a while, so seeing them like actually like perform like or just seeing like you all like perform these characters is weird because I'm like what this is like from my mind, this is weird. But
Hmm.
like I was saying earlier, like just because I felt like I had a strong sense of who these people were, um I feel like it was kind of not easy, but I had an easier time like talking with you like through the actors about it because I knew kind of who the characters were, and I tried to give them freedom in their performances but also convey who these people are. And it was strange like when we first started directing because I'm like, whoa, like what am I doing? I don't know, but I just figured it out. Yeah, and it was fun to like see it all the way through, just like see how the story came together. Obviously, I knew the story was, but seeing it all like come together in production was cool.
Hell yeah.
I like that thought. Like, cause I don't know what this is like, so I'm curious like more on like your thoughts on I don't know what the span was between writing the script for web chat or even coming up with the idea to do web chat, writing the script, finishing the script, and then doing all the filming for it. And then also like filming it because you were like you was one of the main films that didn't like that shit was just scrapped, but then you brought it back. So I wonder how the first one was versus the second one, and how like those like the different, I guess, just like energies on set. It's like the difference in that.
Um, yeah, that's a good question. I think the first time I it was like I said, it was weird directing for the first time, so I feel like it was almost it wasn't good that we had to reshoot it because I really didn't want to reshoot it, but it was almost like a test run for everyone because
Mm.
we saw what we could do with the film and the characters. And so I think like once we got to that second shoot, everyone was like, okay, we know what we're doing. We know who these people are. Like, we know what we need to get. So
We're more
it's
of a
just
well-oiled
like,
machine.
yeah, exactly. And I felt like Chris and Nyla also on the second shoot, they like went like more into their character, like they played more into their characters a little bit because like they saw in the first that was like, oh, I know what to do with this. So like the second time around, they were like, I can really lean into this like awkward, nervous energy, or I can really lean into this like I'm a scam you.
Yeah. Shout out
Yeah.
Nyla.
Oh yeah. Damn. Experience.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, practice
That's
makes
cool.
perfect. I'm speaking on the act on me and Nyla's end. I'm assuming it was easier for us because we had already done it. We had already done the shoot. We had already done so many practice takes. If we just count the first shoot as a practice take, we had practiced so many times doing that when it came out for the second time, it was just like, oh, let's get this line and go. And we just kept shooting
Yeah.
from there and there.
Mm. How did you feel like reading the script versus actually like perform? Because I'm like we performed it pretty close to the script, but I know there was like some things we tweaked. Like, how did you feel about like actually performing like the scenes?
It was weird because it was like being awkward. And, like that's just normally my whole like thing. So it was just kind of like just taking the awkward energy that I might have like actually and just putting that like amplifying it and then just putting it on camera, which was really fun in my mind. But
Yeah,
I think it was just like cool getting a look into just some awkward ass nerd's brain and like just
yeah.
tweaking the whole time, just trying to get some e cooch.
The thing is like about all my wait, what?
No,
What did
real
you
shit,
say?
no, real
I
shit.
totally missed it.
I said just trying to be a nerdy ass dude, just trying to like get some e cooch.
Bro, that might be the description for fucking web chat.
Yeah.
Nerdy ass dude trying to get some e cooch. That's that's really what it is.
But the thing is like with all my stories, I feel like there's always kind of a part of me in the characters, and so like I will say Max is like definitely like I have a lot of that same energy where like just everywhere I'm like it's like you or like so like like especially like being like just this weekend too, I was with my big family. Like I have a big Italian family, and everyone's very overwhelming and stuff. And so sometimes it's like, bruh, I don't know what you want to hear from me. Like it's like awkward sometimes. So I think I also like definitely bring that energy into the characters when I'm writing it, and like I'll use my own voice of like some stupid thing I would say and put it into the characters because that makes it more authentic. Like if you bring pieces of you into the characters, it feels more real and like they're an actual person. So
Yeah,
yeah,
bringing that shit to life, putting your meat in that bitch.
Type shit. Now, Luke, I have one more question. You just
yeah.
pulling it up. So, when the moon meets your eye, like a big pizza pie, what is that?
That's amore.
There we go.
Why'd you do that, man? Why'd you do that?
Honestly, that's the first thing that came into my mind when he said he
You
had
know
an
the second
Italian
piece of
family.
it?
Huh?
Do you know the second part of it?
I had the lyrics pulled up, Luke. So no.
So you can cheat.
Yes,
When the stars make you do this way.
that's amore. So this
That's
little chat that we had. Thank you, boys, for coming on. All right. So
Thank
anyone,
you for hosting.
of
first.
course.